the country from the hired mercenaries out in the middle of the desert at an extreme expense who've run off the 52 other families, bought them out, forced them out, now bluffing and lying and saying, well, you wouldn't sell Bundy, so now we say you owe us grazing rights. They just pulled that out of the air, had some federal judge certify it, when all the precedents, all the history, all the state rulings, all the other federal rulings show that. This is about calling their fraud. And if people ever realize no amount of property taxes, no amount of grazing fees, no amount of cops writing tickets will ever pay for this. The more taxes we get, the poorer we get, because the globalists have signed the federal taxes onto derivatives, 1.5 quadrillion, 700 trillion U.S. is our global portion. This is all on record at Davos. This is all openly in the mainstream news. 90+% of that is not even our debt. They've signed us onto a black hole that no amount of money will pay off precisely because of that. They've signed America, this engine of liberty, this engine of wealth, onto a giant bill that's not ours. It's so big that nothing will pay it off. And so why do they want the taxes so high it bankrupts everybody? 3 words. They are exempt. On record, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Bushes, the Obamas, all these people are basically tax exempt. GE, Google. I mean, most of these companies pay 0 tax. Warren Buffett, oh, he's so nice. He put $100 billion with Bill and Melinda Gates and his foundation. You go look at it, they run their companies as tax-free now. They live in giant mansions with their helicopters and everything free because it's owned by the foundation. You or I can't go do that with our $300,000, $400,000 when we retire, hopefully that we've got saved. It's being inflated away. We can't do that with our house because the property taxes always go up to eat out the profit. They are, the money changers are up against the free market. They call it overheating when the economy starts growing past 3.5%. We had 10% growth rates from 1789 right through the Great Depression. But ever since our country went into receivership, it's never ended. It's just gotten worse and worse, from the richest nation in the world to the most indebted, from the healthiest nation in the world to the most sick, from the most aggressive and inventive nation to the most slovenly and dumbed down on every front. We can rediscover the animating spirit of liberty. What happened in Nevada, when we have the moral high ground, when exercised over and over again, they're buying armored vehicles. They're trying to take on the Tea Party and gun owners and libertarians because the globalists have looked at the only opposition in this country that articulately knows it's a global UN banking cartel takeover. They've already seized the country. They believe they own the country through fraud. They believe they've conquered it. But if we ever go, wait a minute, you did this by fraud. The Federal Reserve's not federal. Wait a minute. When the cops figure out why their parents are going bankrupt, when the firemen figure out why that's that, when the FBI agents, you know, has their kid dying of cancer and finds out, wait a minute, that brain cancer virus is in vaccines, when they find out their little kid died. See, the New World Order is going to hurt people so bad that there's no way we can lose. The question is, how far do we go down this hellhole before we find our fighting spirit?
That's right, and that's exactly what we saw happening here. When we played that clip from Emmett Bundy, he said, these are hills that we grew up on for generations. We were free to roam them. And one day, they beat up teenagers that pull up with their trucks and their girlfriends to fish. BLM shows up with guns and says, what are you doing here? Exactly.
I mean, literally a bunch of armed, crazy goons running around.
One day they wake up and they got snipers on the hills with their guns pointed at them. And Kit Daniels found the documents where the Walton Family Foundation says, we'll give $400,000 to help the environment here as soon as you get the Bundys off of their ranch, as soon as you get their trespass cattle off. And, of course, that same family foundation, the guy who runs it, is sitting on the board of First Solar, which is going to, has already broken ground for their solar project using the Bundy Ranch.
It's incredible.
As mitigation.
And then the Chinese government-backed group, $5 billion, to come bring in this infrastructure, which we could put in anyways, but is a boondoggle. All this is, all these energy deals to the Democrats are literally just payoffs. Yep. It's like when George Herbert Walker Bush gets paid $1 million to speak in Japan or Beijing, in Tokyo or in Beijing. It's on record. That's what those are from these governments when the Saudis pay Bill Clinton $1 million to come speak over there. Okay, $1 million, folks. That's all this is a total takeover of our civilization. And so they've got their blueprint, we've got ours. We tell the story, we tell the narrative with the imagery of us at the Alamo with our guns defying the police and their unconstitutional law. They back down there. Remember that? Mm-hmm. That was just a few months ago.
Oh, yeah.
You guys go and you do this and walk towards the guns as they're saying they're going to shoot you. And they're sitting there thinking, man, am I going to just shoot some people? Plus, it's like Lexington, you guys had your guns down at your side. You were reporters. You had a video camera as a gun. But the people with guns, once the feds started shooting,
that's right,
people were going to be shooting back. And see, now there's the realization, oh, you're really going to have a civil war now. You're really going to die for the lie, for the fraud of you didn't build it. Bundy, you didn't build this. Your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather, 7 generations, didn't build this. Get off, because we got a bunch of Chinese communists and Harry Reid and people and the Walton Foundation. What do you think Nature Conservancy, Sierra Club, and all these groups do? Yeah. They come in, they get you to sell your land out for nothing. They flip it and build condos on it 10 years later, and nobody remembers. I'm going to come back with one more segment with you, David, then I'm going to turn it over to you and Dr. Jerome Corsi. Got a bunch of other news as well coming up, but this is historical. This is a big deal.
Jessica Armand here, creator of My Magic Mud, the all-natural teeth whitener and strengthening remedy that's getting rave reviews from GCN listeners. Here's what Austin dentist Dr. Griffin Cole has to say about it.
I really love this Magic Mud product. Because charcoal is so absorbent, it's very effective at taking off all the sticky plaque and debris that gets stuck on our teeth every day. I highly recommend My Magic Mud.
Visit mymagicmud.com to hear the full interview with Dr. Cole. Get your jar today. That's mymagicmud.com.
You've heard about the lowest price promise at Emergency Essentials, but did you know right now you can save $100 on a Katadyn Pocket Micro Water Filter? While supplies last, get 40% off a personal emergency kit, 43% off Red Feather Butter, and 46% off the Victoria Hand Grain Mill. And don't forget, you can save over $250 on the year supply of basics. Call Emergency Essentials at 800-999-1863 or visit BePrepared.com. The choice is clear. Be unprepared or BePrepared.com.
This is Alex Jones for InfoWarsLife.com. The latest in preparedness is now here. An electrically stabilized colloidal silver solution that can be added to both your home cabinet and preparedness pack alike. Concentrated to 30 parts per million in what has been dubbed the survival silver solution. The new InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver is the answer for you and your family. And it's entirely free of toxic artificial additives that are loaded into many products. The InfoWars Life Silver Bullet Silver is so powerful that it is concentrated into a 2-ounce bottle and is not recommended for extended continual use. This is not a low-grade formula. We are working with one of the top laboratory manufacturers in the United States to bring you the best form of colloidal silver using electrical processes within a base of deionized water for your preparedness storage or your home kitchen. Purchase your bottle of InfoWarsLife.com Silver Bullet Colloidal Silver today and find other amazing supplements at InfoWarsLife.com.
Hi there. My name is Frank Bates. What I'm about to tell you in the next 60 seconds could get me in a lot of trouble. I just created a free video presentation at 123coverup.com that exposes the electricity monopolies and government agencies for what they really are. Incompetent, lying crooks that are counting on your ignorance and fear to keep your power bills criminally high. Some have called this a conspiracy. Others have called it a cover-up, and you will be shocked to find out how deep the conspiracy goes. My video at 123coverup.com exposes the truth and shows you the secret of how I beat them and how you can beat them too. Watch the controversial video that thousands of other smart patriots have already seen in the last 3 months. Go to 123coverup.com and discover one weird trick to slash your power bill and protect your home. Go watch my video now at 123coverup.com before they force me to shut it down. Again, that's 123coverup.com.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, and Alex is with me for the next segment. We're also going to be talking to Jerome Corsi because he's going to flesh in this out about what's going on with the Chinese everywhere. Clearly, there was a link between Harry Reid and his son and the Chinese energy company, as well as current solar projects that are underway there.
Well, more than a link. I mean, that was in the news 2 years ago. We just hadn't realized it was that land.
Specifically mentioning that land as essentially their mitigation area.
And you got to get rid of Bundy.
Exactly.
Because the cows will get into the, into the electrical stuff.
I tell you, Alex, I wish you could have been there. I know you would have loved to have been there. It was Just amazing to see that victory. See people walking up there, standing down, the men with guns pointed at us. It was
well. If I was you, I would have Corsi on for say 30 minutes. If he wants to ride shotgun, that's fine. I would do 30 minutes of calls from folks to get their take on this. People are really excited.
Yeah.
You can even do overdrive if you feel like it today, because this is the time to celebrate and do a fourth hour if you wanted to. But if not, that's fine. The Nightly News is coming up tonight, 7 o'clock Central at PrisonPlanet.tv. Look, I'm going to leave it at this. Tiananmen Square did not go the way the East German collapse did, or what happened in Ceausescu, or what happened with the Magna Carta. It went the way that 1775 Lexington Concord did, with violence. But at Lexington Concord, we won that battle. And I have no doubt that if a firefight would have started, they didn't. The globalists want to blow something up, then have a firefight start and say we blew up a federal building with a daycare center in it. That's how they're going to do this. Yeah. They don't want it out there taking people's land because they can't spin that. Okay? I'm not saying the average BLM would be involved in that. I'm just giving them intel on how the real world works. Okay? Now all the false flags are being declassified. Cy Hirsch is reporting on it. So this didn't go the way of Tiananmen Square. This didn't go the way of Ruby Ridge. This didn't go the way of Waco. This went good. And it was one of the first times we've seen something go well. And it shows in the minds of the BLM and the establishment. They know they're losing the moral high ground because they're there to clean people off. This is happening all over the West and all over the East and all over the Midwest. Wherever there is people near national parks or public land, or people that own the land that's inside of national parks that they held onto, they're just locking the gates, not letting them in. They're harassing them. This is part of an Agenda 21, get us off the land. You know, write tickets and shut down those little girls selling lemonade or mistletoe. It's about tracking everything you do in commerce while they turn your resources off. It's about put the Indians on the reservation, put the blacks on the plantation, put the poor white people in the sharecropping operation. You can only buy your products where? The company store.
That's right.
Folks should look into that. This went back to the Romans.
That's why you're always playing Tennessee Ernie Ford.
I owe my soul to the company store. Because this is what's happened over and over again. This is not some new system. The republics knew 235 years old. Feudalism is 6,000 years old.
Yes.
That's why we know it. We know its paradigm. We know how it works. We know where it goes. We know how to beat it. And this, what you saw, if duplicated, and if we own this victory, and don't let the COINTELPRO disinfo it, and, oh, we didn't win anything, they'll be back. Of course they'll be back.
Yes.
We rediscover our fighting spirit. That's how we win. Now, listen, I'm going to turn things over to you. Incredible job, you and Josh, everybody, and your great wife. I know, she was right there, watching on the live stream with everything you went through, so God bless her strength and your great family and the great crew. We've done 2 hours now, and we've not plugged one thing on air. Other talk shows do it every hour. Folks, if you want to see more reporting like this, if you want to see us strong, we're going through a lot here to fund the operation. Buy the Molon Labe products at madein1776.com, InfoWarsStore.com. Buy the cap that you saw David wearing that got so many comments out there, Made in America. It's a 1776 with a little coiled snake on the side. Get the George Washington belt buckles. They're almost sold out. InfoWarsLife.com, InfoWarsStore.com, Maiden1776.com. Become a PrisonPlanet.tv member. Share your memberships. Spread the info. It was your internet support that drove this, and Drudge and others in an info war. That's the final point. We defeated the mainstream horror media in this. We defeated the globalists. We defeated George Soros. We defeated the UN. We did it. It's a blueprint for victory. So war bonds, buy stuff at InfoWarsStore.com. We need treasure for this war. Fill us. Give us the weapons we need. Give it to us. And your prayers. And your prayers.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network.
In the last 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.